So we have a beautiful crowd here. Welcome, everyone. Some of you, well, most of you know me. Some of you don't. I'm Dr. Roger Sahori. And today we're going to be doing our emotional breakthrough workshop. You excited about that? Yeah. All right, great. I also have one of the most amazing speakers that I speak on stages with all the time throughout the country. And her name happens to be Lieberman-Wang. She's a #1 best-selling author of the book Find to Fab. And she really empowers women, and now has a male group about empowering males. So she's a superstar, and I'm just blessed to have her here to help support you. And the way that we met was in the Tony Robbins world, because we're leaders pretty much in that community, and she's just one of the people who's just I've been blessed with to have in my life, and has really helped me help many other people as well. So we're just a good tag team. So is it okay if she helps me out today?
Absolutely.
All right. Great. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on what the word emotion means. Right? We're all here to have an emotional breakthrough, right? But the word emotion stands for energy in motion. So if we focus on somebody who is sad, how is their energy? How's their emotion? Low? Okay. How's their body language? Is it upright or is it slouched over? How's their breath? Is it shallow or is it nice and full? Shallow, right? How about someone who's just joyous, who's just so happy and cheerful? How is their body language? Participation.
Very open.
Okay, thank you. It's open, right? It's upright. Are they full of life? Yeah, that's right. So now everybody stands up, because the energy in this room is, it's like the first one I just described. And we need to shift that, how fast? This fast, all right? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Our arms up into the sky. Take a deep breath in and out. Good. Again, all the way up and out. Now I want you to go, take a deep breath in as your arms are up, and I want you to go to your left side. Follow the people in front of you. And breathe out and come back up. And then breathe to the right. And bring it up. Good. Now drop your arms. Now I want you to think about something in your life that brings you joy. Can you do that? Good. That brings you a lot of joy. That makes you happy. Let me know when you have that. Just say yes. Yes. Okay. So now when you have that in your life, I want to hear that joy come out in a laughter, in a tone of laughter. Okay? So on the count of 3, I want you to laugh like something like, or whatever yours sounds like. Can you do that? Okay. Good. Just laugh at my laugh. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. You feel silly, you feel awkward, you feel uncomfortable doing it. Those are the ones who need to do it more and be even louder. Because the more uncomfortable you are in life, the bigger breakthrough you can have in your life. So get uncomfortable today. Don't be reserved. This is your time to break through. Are you ready for that? Yeah. All right, so on the count of 3, I want to hear your loudest laugh. 1, 2, 3. That was awesome. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. Great. Now I want you to pick a partner. You can be my partner. Okay? You can be part of our group. Face your partner. Does anybody not have a partner? Put your hand up. Come up here. You get Lisa. Nothing. You got the best of the best here. All right? I want you to look at your partner, and I want you to tell them something that's going to make them smile. When I'm in your energy, you bring me so much joy because you're just so positive and energetic, and you're grateful and you're thankful of everything that we do here, and you're connected with the power from within inside of you. And that makes it so much easier for everyone.
When I look at you and I'm in your presence, I feel love, and it's great.
Awesome. And I can feel that. And I appreciate it. And I'm thankful for it. Love you too. Right? It's awesome. It's awesome. You're even more awesome. You're the greatest.
You're greater than me.
Oh yeah, well I'll take it. I'm equal. All right. You're right there. You're right there. So you have an emotional breakthrough. Every day in every way.
Yes.
I'm gonna count to 10. Hopefully you're done. All right, is everyone done? You can keep saying great to that person. Good. You could all have a seat. How is the energy in the room now in comparison to when we first sat down? Awesome. Anybody feel a shift in the energy? So do you see what I meant by emotion stands for energy in motion? Does everybody get that now? Right? I had you just think about a thought and then you laughed. And some of you were more participating greater and some were like reserved a little bit. But then all of a sudden, as I kept going and going, it became even more and more for you. Yes? Yes. All right. And then you had to say something nice about somebody in front of you. So somebody raise your hand and share to me if somebody brought joy to you when they said something. And step out of your comfort zone right now. Don't be reserved. Go ahead. Wow. How did that make you feel? Wow. Super. Great. Now, what does super mean to you? Awesome, right? Great. Great. So that's what super means to you, right? What does super mean to you, sir? What is the definition of super for you?
Beyond regular.
Beyond regular. Okay. All right. What does super mean to you?
Something that's extraordinary going on in the daily life.
Okay.
Being healthy.
Being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Because that's great, right? So you see how everybody can have a little bit different of interpretation of what a word means, right? So a word or an emotion is only as powerful as the meaning that you give it. Did everybody hear that? A word or an emotion is only as powerful as the meaning that you give it. Now you see I wrote up here, events in life don't control our lives, do not control our lives, right? Decisions in our lives do. What does that mean? Go ahead.
That your thoughts, that what you decide in life and your thoughts, the event doesn't mean anything. You think about that event, that means something.
Okay.
Decision into that event.
Okay. Great. Great. Lisa, what's your interpretation of that?
Well, it's always the meaning we give anything. You can be in a situation where somebody can be at a circus and somebody loves circuses and they say, this is the best, I love this, and somebody else might be there and said, I hate these clowns, this is miserable, and I wish I wasn't here. It's actually the meaning you give anything is what it is how it's interpreted for you.
Did everybody hear that? Does anybody need to have that repeated one more time from Lisa? Yes. Does anybody not hear it? Put your hand up.
Come closer.
All right, so Lisa, can you do a little louder? Because there were some people who are a little bit older in the back. So maybe move up and say that same thing, just right in the middle maybe for them, because they're a little bit older, they can't hear. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Who didn't hear?
Just say it out loud. All right, perfect. So say it right there.
So what it is that anything we have in life, it's the meaning we give it. So if somebody was at an event and say you love parties, who here loves parties? Okay, not everybody raise your hands, right?
Who loves parties?
Okay, and it's not everybody, so that's okay, and I'm seeing who doesn't. So we won't invite you, it's okay. And we go to this party, and everybody who loves parties will probably put a meaning to this. This is great with all these people having a great time. Someone who doesn't love parties will sit there and say, what are all these people doing? They're wasting their time, or whatever their story is. It's the meaning they give it, the decision they make at that time, or what it means. Now, there is no wrong and right in meaning. It's really just the interpretation that you have based on the references you have. And a lot of us might have negative references to things in the past that might automatically make you feel one way or another towards an event. The truth is that when you start looking at it, it's like a different operating system. When Roger said here, events in life, don't control our lives, but decisions do, realize this, most of us, by the time we're 5 years old, 55% of our beliefs were formed by well-meaning adults, guardians, parents. These are people who gave you different things. They told you Santa Claus came a certain time of year, Easter Bunny came. They told you when to go to sleep, don't talk to strangers. Remember all these? Some of them were not true. You can figure out which they were, right? The thing is, though, you might have given it a meaning and decided it is or it isn't. You decided to agree with it or not. But these are events you had in your life, and as you get older, it's like operating on a different operating system. How many people like computers? Do you know what Windows 95 is? Okay, do you remember it? It's not what most people use today, but yet we're using antiquated operating systems even in how we think, what we do, how we respond to people. We're still working on meanings that don't even apply anymore and don't work today. So it affects your emotions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Right? Then I wrote right here, the worst thing is not to take control of the force that controls your life, and that force is your human emotions. What does that mean? Should I read that again? The worst thing in life is to not take control of the force that controls your life. And what is that force? It's your human emotion. What does that mean? Allowing your emotions to control you, right? So what do many people do when a problem, as they call it, right, arises? They stress, they go into a stress response, and they react, right? They react based on rules that they were given from mother, father, teacher, preacher, yes? And you have all these rules in life, and if we shift one of your rules just slightly, instead of waiting to respond and to figure out how can I reach that solution that I really want, right? Because there's no such thing as a problem, there's only solutions in life. We, as human beings, first thing is react. And when you react and you don't think, where does that put you in life? Are you in control? Or is something in control of you? That's right. If you were driving a car, who's in control? You. And if that car starts spinning, it's out of control, right? It's out of control. And you don't want to be that car that's spinning out of control, do you? So you can take control of your life. You just need to focus on things that bring you joy. Focus on before reacting to somebody. Focus on before reacting to somebody to respond. Take the time for yourself. You don't have to give somebody an answer right away. You're in control of your decisions in life. Does everybody understand that? Yes?
Yeah.
Who's in control? Somebody else is in control of you. Right? It's like advice that I would give my own daughter, right? I have 2 little daughters, right? And I say, if you're not in control of your body, somebody else will be in control of your body one day. She's a little girl, right? She's 4 years old right now. But I mean, when she becomes older and a teenager, that's something I'm going to tell her. You need to be responsible and in control of your body, because if not, somebody else will be in control of your body, right? It's the same exact thing with your emotions, okay? Lisa, is there something you'd like to add to that?
So when you see the word react, I'm visual. Can everybody see the react? What's the first 2 letters say?
Bree.
And what's the last 3 say? You're reacting something. It's something that you're not even thinking. It's a knee-jerk reaction. You know, if somebody hit your knee, you'd have a reflex. A lot of times we react to situations. I'll give you an example. Maybe none of you have ever done this. Have you ever heard someone you care about say something in a tone, and it didn't matter what they said, but you reacted in a specific way consistently? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Okay? We reacted. They might have had good news or bad news, but whatever it was, you might have reacted in a way you're just familiar. Whatever it is, again, you hear it, right? You're not actually sitting there and taking it for what it is at face value. Half the times our emotions are skewed because it doesn't matter what people are doing. We have connections or triggers and anchors associated to something that was said or done in the past, and we tend to react to it, okay? So here's what happens when we say the word respond, because I I just like it, it's an act. Respond is the point of what Dr. Roger just said, is being present is the first key to respond. He said if you need to, what do you say, take a what? A moment or a breath, right? Take a breath. So you have to take a breath. Most people don't do that. They have that knee-jerk reaction, like bam, and right away you're going to react to whatever was said. The difference is that you might not have even heard what was said. You might have thought you heard. You might have thought what was implied. So knowing the difference is how we actually do have control of our emotions, that we're not existing in a point of just going about our way and reacting to everything, learning to be present and breathing and taking a moment and listening to what actually is being said or done around us can change your whole life, literally. Just learning to be present. How many people understand what it means to be present? Okay, not everybody. So let's talk about being present. Okay. Anybody have children? Okay. You ever notice that when you're speaking to somebody, especially a child, that sometimes they have a phone in their hand or a game in their hand? Again, some of you are relating, right? Are they present or are they not present? They're not present. Okay. When you're
Doesn't have to be a child.
okay, I was gonna say, I was going to you, sweetheart. What about if you have someone in the house that has a remote in their hand? There's a TV and there's a remote. If they're watching the TV and there's a remote and there's stuff going on, are they present with you or are they doing something else? Okay. How many of you are guilty, because I'll go there, of trying to talk to someone while they're watching TV? And how many people get frustrated when you do that because they're not listening? Did you notice they were watching TV? Okay, they were never present to begin with. And for some reason you thought because you're standing there, they see you, if they see you, or they say they hear you, which they're not present and listening, and then you might get frustrated at the end of the conversation because you don't feel heard. Anybody relate? Okay, so learning to be present is a huge, huge thing that can change everything in your life. Knowing that most of the time we're in such a busy world that we're reacting to people all the time, we're not responding, we don't know how to be present, and a lot of families meaning relationships, are craving for something more than anything else. They want just quality time. People think it's time. It's not time. It's quality. Meaning if you give a child, a spouse, 5 minutes, like they want to talk to you and you actually look in their eyes and listen to what they're saying, you will see a complete shift in that relationship versus trying to talk through walls, talk through TVs, remotes, texting, or anything else. But most of the time we're reacting because no one's ever present. Does this make sense to everybody? Yes. Okay.
Look at this. Here, let's do this exercise. Pick your partner again. Look at your partner.
They can live together.
She doesn't have a partner. Oh, you could be partners, right? And just go. And I want you to look. I need you right now to look at your partner in the eye. And you could stand up. Everybody could stand up, right? Make it easier, all right? Now, I need everybody to be quiet until I give this instruction, okay? Please, it's very important. And I'd actually like you to actually be quiet the entire time while we do this. I want you to look at your partner directly in the eye and don't take your eyes off your partner's eyes. Just be present. Just be present. As silly as this may seem to you, I want you to do this, okay? Continue to look at your partner. And it's okay if you blink. Just look at your partner. There's no judgments here. Now let's do it without speaking. No speaking, just looking. Just be present. My staff needs not to talk. Be present. Okay, you can come out of it. You can go back to your seat. How was that exercise? So I'm hearing hard. That's what I'm hearing, right? So it's hard to be present with somebody? Yeah. Okay. How long were you able, how long did that feel like? Did it feel like? I didn't say how long was it. How long did it feel like? Huh? It felt like you're forever, right? But when you're present with somebody, right, and you're actually really present with them, and you're present with yourself, and you're enjoying the moments that you're having with them, see, it's just a little bit of time that can feel like forever. So it's not about time, it's about the quality, like Lisa just said. Do you see that? Does everybody get that? Any light bulbs go off there? So just be present. You know, when you come home, right? You come home from work, whether you're a male or female, right? You come home and let's say you have a spouse at home. Be present. It's the first 90 seconds of you coming home that determines how that whole night really is. Come home, be present for 90 seconds. Give love. Connect with whoever it is. Even if you don't have a spouse, even if it's your dog, whatever. Just, connect, be present. Even if it's yourself walking into your home, present with yourself. Quiet your mind a little bit. It's your time to be connected with you then. Time for you to decompress, right? Go in and breathe. Breathing is so powerful. Watch this. I want everybody to take a deep breath in through their nose while putting your hands, interlock them just right here and put them right on your belly, and take a deep breath in and push your belly out when you take a deep breath in. Now, many people breathe from their chest. They don't breathe from their diaphragm. I want you to breathe from your diaphragm. Take a deep breath in and push your hands out through your belly, okay? Well, let's do that 5 times. Can we do that? Nice and slow. Make it nice and quiet. Now, everyone who actually did that exercise will tell me something. So, when you took that breath in and out 5 times, what did it do to your body? Relax your body. Now, when you come home from the day, do you want to be relaxed or do you want your mind to be running? Relaxed. Is that an emotional breakthrough? Is that a breakthrough? Right? It is, right? Learning on how to quiet your mind and know when to decompress and when to relax is a huge breakthrough for people because many people come home and they don't stop. Their minds don't stop thinking, right? So it's so easy to get your mind to stop thinking. Just breathe, right? Another great tool is this. When your mind is thinking so much, smile. Now smile. Now try to think about something while you're smiling. It's not so easy to think about something when you're smiling, is it? So just smile. I know I get silly, right? But that's the kid inside of me. Don't ever lose that. Don't lose the kid inside of you. And if you didn't like the kid inside of you, create a new kid. Because your past doesn't determine your future. Remember that. Your past and the events that occurred in your past do not determine your future. And you've learned from each and every one of those experiences, have you not? And yet if you haven't, let's begin to learn. Right? But you learn from them. When you learn from them, as long as you don't do the same thing over and over and over again, because that's the definition of what? Insanity and expecting a different result, yes? All right? So then we have to shift our approach, shift our strategy. So now you've learned on how to shift your state. You learned on how to shift your strategy. But there's something else called a story that we begin to tell ourselves many times. Yes? I'm going to let Lisa go into that one.
And even before I do the story,
Yeah.
I want to just talk about what he just said. He said to smile, right? Dr. Roger said to smile. Can everybody practice smiling? When I say practice, easy as others. So practice. Here's what I'm going to, if you're not good at smiling, you could be on. Okay, so you're going to give everybody this exercise. Everybody was given a pen right now, and I'd like you to do this.
They're all brand new pens. They're all brand new pens.
Okay, I don't know where this one was, but that's brand new, okay? You're gonna do this. Now what this does, and this is true, this actually triggers something, the neurotransmitters in your brain to think you're smiling. Now while you're doing this, thank you for playing, you guys are amazing, okay? I want you, while you're doing with your pen, I want you to think of something negative. Negative. Who can think of something negative? You can think of it while you're smiling? Really, you're trying hard, huh? You're looking for it. It actually is impossible to think of something negative while you're smiling. And if it's something that you have a chat that you're not used to doing, and I've done this with a lot of my clients, I have them do this all day. Until it's the point where they don't need the pen anymore and you're smiling all the time. But I'm going to tell you, if you're smiling, it's going to be hard to feel down. It's going to be hard to do depressed. It's going to be hard to, or any of the other stuff around you, because you're not going to be thinking of negative thoughts when you're happy. Would you agree? Okay. And your brain doesn't know the difference. So we'll talk about the stories. So we talked about state, strategy, and we'll talk about the stories we have. Does anybody have a story about their life that's not wonderful? Yeah. Am I the only one? Thank you. I mean, I have some really awful ones. You know, my nickname growing up was AH. Do you know what that stands for?
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah, you do. So my nickname was Asshole. Does anyone have a better one?
Not better than that.
Not better than that, right? And it's not a competition, but the point is somebody growing up with that name, what do you think a person growing up with that name would think of herself? Not very much, absolutely, right? So I had a story around not being very good, not being enough, not anything, because my father was the one who gave me that nickname. And he didn't even do it privately, he also did it in public. And in public he said AH so other people wouldn't know. Wasn't that nice of him?
Yeah.
But the idea is that this was the name I was given since I was a little kid. And what happens, sometimes you have a story. And the story can be around something that was told to you, something that you told yourself, something that happened. Maybe that wasn't very fulfilling, wasn't very happy. And most of the time people actually live into the story. Here's what happens. People don't know let me make it this way. Our brain does not know the difference between fact and fiction. So if you tell it something long enough, what do you think it does? It believes it. So you hear the expression self-fulfilling prophecies, right? People say self-fulfilling prophecies. You know anybody who says, oh, I always have bad luck, right? Or self-fulfilling prophecy, and everything will happen around them that will show them, I'll never get that parking spot, I never get called first, I never win the lottery, right? I always have bad luck. Whatever it is, self-fulfilling. Well, we tell ourselves stories, and what happens is our brain wants us to be right and wants us to be happy, so guess what? It supports us. And we find instances to find those things true in our lives. So think about it right now. What stories do you tell yourself that you want to get rid of? And I want you to just write it down. You don't need to share it with anybody. What's a story you've told yourself that you just want to get rid of? It might have been that you're not smart enough, skinny enough, rich enough. It might have been that somebody said something to you. Maybe they said you'll never amount to what you wanted, or you're not going to be able to be the doctor you want to be. What was the story that you were told that you lived into?
There is no right or wrong. This is your own.
It's your own story.
It's your own story, whatever it may be.
And as you're writing the story, I want you, does everybody have something written down? If you don't have something written down, raise your hand, so I want you all to benefit. You have something written down? Okay. I want you to look at that, and I want you for a moment just to think, and just stay with me. Think of where you got it. Where did that story come from? Was it somebody else who told you? How many people had somebody else tell them what they wrote down? Okay, somebody else told you. Okay. Was it something you told yourself? Okay. Was it something happened and it made you believe that story? Trying to see where it came from. Okay. Did I not cover an area? Where did the story come from if it wasn't something I shared? What was it?
I think sometimes it's just a learned behavior
A learned behavior.
from your environment.
Okay, so something that through experience you end up believing that story.
In order to enjoy yourself, then this must be happening.
This must be happening. Okay, awesome. So here's what happens. Say somebody told you, or say you told you. How many people are there in the world? 7 billion. So one person out of 7 billion told you something about you, and you choose to believe it is true. Did you think of polling the other 6.99999 billion? We can laugh about it, but listen to this. One person tells us something, and it might be you, and you believe that to be true. Now I want you to look at that statement, that story. If somebody you loved had that story, what would you tell them to do with that story? If anybody'd like to share. You don't have to share what the story was, but if someone you loved had that story and they told you this was their story, what would you tell them to do to help them?
Rewrite it.
Burn it, rewrite it.
Let it go.
Let it go. Anything else? Move forward. Anything else? Believe in yourself. Focus on a blessing. Right?
Point out to them all the reasons why it's completely further from the truth than it could possibly be.
Absolutely. Point out all the reasons why it's completely the furthest from the truth than it could possibly be. Logically, would you all agree you know this? Yes? You get it, right? But there's a piece of us that's called, we always return to familiar. And familiar is, we go back to what I call fine. My book is called Fine to Fat, and it's because that's how I used to feel. I used to feel fine. And I'm going to say a curse, so please not to offend anybody. Fine was how I used to feel. People would say, how are you doing, Lisa? I go, fine. They go, how are you doing? I go, fine. Finally, I said, I'm fine. I'm effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. I'm fine. Leave me the hell alone. And I was fine. But the idea is that it's our association to things, right? It's what we're associated. We would never let someone we love say these things to themselves, yet we say it to ourselves. Do you see the challenge with the story? Okay? So what I'd like us to do is we're going to get rid of whatever the story is today. Is that okay? Okay. First off, I want you to take the story, and you have a choice. You can, I like to burn things, so we're not going to burn them here, okay? So I heard burn. I like that because I actually like to burn things. You can scribble it out. You can say cancel, cancel. I know that's one of the ones you like to use.
Yep.
You can cancel it. You can say it's not true. You can dismiss it, say thank you for sharing, and that's just not true. But what I want you to do is this week, anytime you hear this story come up again, that you made up or somebody made up and it became real to you, as our brain has this, I like to call it a habitizer. It's a part of our brain. When you do something over and over again, it thinks you want to do it. So its only job is to do it faster and easier. So if you have a habit that it's not favorable, like you said, you did it over, learned behavior, and you keep getting better at it, which doesn't serve you, it's because a part of your brain does not know it's good or bad. It doesn't judge it. It just says she keeps doing this. I'm speaking in your case. She keeps doing this, so she must want to do it. I want to make it faster and easier for her to get that result. So being it doesn't judge good or bad, it's going to be serving her or not serving her. It just does it. But we have to do the first step of any change to do this is create awareness. What?
Awareness.
Can everybody say it? What do you have to do? Awareness. And you just started that by writing it down, what it is that you're saying to yourself, right? The story that you've created or you've heard and you decided to keep. Now you know it's there. We need to acknowledge it. Okay, I see it's there. And then we look at it outside of ourselves and say, is this true? So the question is it true? For everybody, is this true? You can answer it out loud.
Is it true? All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
So if it's not true, then we don't need to believe it anymore, right? Now the thing, and if it is true, here's what I want you to ask to yourself. What do you need to believe to make that true? What do you need to believe to make that true? For me to believe that I was an AH, I'd have to believe that I was an animal and was like that I was brown and looked ugly, and that's totally not true. So it can't be true. Does this make sense? Is it true? No, it's impossible to be true. No, I'm not feces. Make sense? So is it true? And what do I need to believe to be true? I'd have to believe that my father is the only person that knows what I am. That would not be true. Right? Okay. So then the truth is what? So what I'd like you to do is when you cross out your other story, I want you to write the truth is. But before you do that, I need you to all to stand up.
Shift that state.
Okay. So I'm going to ask everybody to play with me. Are you willing to play?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, really. Okay, we're gonna do something that is quite unique, not typical, not what we normally do at a seminar, okay? I'm gonna ask you to act silly. Is everybody willing to act silly? We need everybody to do this. Can you all raise your hands and act silly? Because we're not all committed, this won't work, okay?
You got to play full out.
Okay, so
Full out.
You gotta raise your hands, please.
You got to play full out.
So we're gonna
Right, good.
Here's what I want you to do. Whatever it is, we're gonna scream so loud. We're gonna what? Scream so loud, and nobody's gonna hear what you say. They don't care what you're saying. They're working on their own stuff. And whatever you said your story was, I want you to say it
In a
like
funny
you're
voice.
Mickey Mouse and only 2 years old. Okay? Like whatever it is, like saying, you know, I'm in the shit, I'm in the shit, like you know, like Mickey Mouse and 2 years old. Do you get me? Mickey Mouse and how old? 2 years old. And I want you to act as silly as you can. And there's one more caveat. You have to put your finger up your nose. You have to put your finger up your nose or it doesn't work. I promise. You want to get rid of this
She's
story,
right.
You don't want to feel this.
She's right, though.
How many people want to feel great? And want to be more empowered than you've ever been in your life? Yes? Then you want to do this. So you're going to put your finger where? Up your nose. And you're going to act like what? 2 years old Mickey Mouse, right? And we're going to do this until I say stop, and I want you to be as silly as you can and move as much of your body as you can, okay? So if you want to come in the aisle, you're welcome to do that. And we're going to start right now. Whatever it is you have, okay? Everybody's playing full
Stick it in
out,
your mouth.
okay?
He
Yes?
can't do it in his nose. He just had this.
What?
He can't do it in his
In your
nose.
ear then. If you can't do
Was
your
that
nose, do your ear.
Who couldn't do it in their nose? I heard somebody said he couldn't do it in their nose. Oh, okay. Everybody can do it. All right, keep going.
Otherwise, you're another body.
No, that's all right.
Okay, ready? Everybody knows what to do? Whatever the story is, you're acting like you're 2 years old and you're Mickey Mouse as loud as you can, scream like crazy, jump around, I don't care if you turn around, whatever the case is, and you're going to say it like you're really silly. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on.
Just do it. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Do it. Come on. Say your breakthrough. The people who do it have the biggest, because some people wouldn't do it, right? So you can trust that.
The people that do this have the biggest breakthroughs. And if you didn't do it here, I hope you go home and do it where you don't, if you're not worried about being seen. And I'm not even going to ask you to high five each other now, so don't worry. Okay, so here, listen. So here's what I want you to do. Just for 1 second, just be present with yourself. In other words, stand, breathe. Take a deep breath in. And I want you to think of that thought before, especially if you just did that little scramble. Think of the thought you had before. On a scale of 1 to 10, if it was a 10 before, how many people are below a 5 right now in that thought, feeling any energy associated with it? Okay? You see the difference? It literally is something that we're able to reprogram our mind and our thinking by changing the connections we have to it. It's changing the emotional response. Okay? Give yourselves a hand and thank you for being so out there.
That was great. So I'd like somebody to share that experience about the story. Anybody here willing to experience any ship that they had? Anyone? Go ahead.
About the story, the
Yeah.
original story?
Yeah.
That my friends I grew up with said that I fucked up all the time. I was a screw up. I never did anything right.
Yep. So that was
Now I smile about it because it's
because you're not that,
no,
right?
not
What-
even close.
Yeah. See, many times things that we believe lie right in the middle of that word, believe. What is it? What are the 3 letters right in the middle? Lie. So not all your beliefs, what anybody's ever taught you is true, right? Of course, there are some things that are, but not things that are going to disempower you and break you down. If somebody's disempowering you, why are they doing that? What's it doing for themselves? It might build their ego, right? Well, it's meeting one of their human needs, and that's a whole nother workshop that we do, right, about the 6 human needs, right? But it might make them feel certain. It might make them feel significant as an individual, right? And it makes them feel significant by putting somebody else down because it builds them up, their power. That's right, right? So not everything that somebody says to you, especially when they're trying to disempower you, is ever correct, right? So you're in control of how you even allow that to affect you. Yes? All right, good. So did what Lisa did help you? It did, right? Right? Good. And it will help you even deeper. Go ahead.
Doing this exercise helps you take yourself more seriously, for one. And I think that probably most of us here who are adults have friends in relationships probably give very good advice when people come to us. And what I've done recently is started telling myself the same advice I tell friends and then listen to it.
Yeah.
Because we tell people better things than we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to learn to listen to our friend's side
Yeah.
that's giving us good advice.
Absolutely. So, whatever you focus on in life, you begin to what? You begin to feel and believe, right? That becomes part of who? You, right? Yeah, whatever you focus on in life, you feel. And then that begins to expand. Remember what I just said? Whatever you focus on in life, you feel, and that expands. If this was white canvas and I put a red dot right in the middle, what does most 99.9% of people focus on? The red dot. So you can have 100 great things going on in your life, but one thing that isn't right. And what are you focusing on? The one thing. How much power did you give it? All your power. You were all in. All your poker chips are in. Come on. Is that the right thing? No. Right? Begin to focus on the things that bring you joy. Right? Something that I do with my staff in the mornings when we do our morning huddles, right? Is we focus on not what's wrong, we focus on what's right. Hey, give me something that you're appreciative of someone on our team. Give me something that you're appreciative of that you said that occurred yesterday in the office before that huddle started, right? And I'll say, oh my God, this one said that, they were suffering with this for so many years, and all of a sudden they feel amazing and they have their life back. Another one will say, oh my God, this person came in and said, I can't believe this. I fit into my skinny jeans again, and I haven't been able to fit into these jeans in so long. I feel amazing, right? But all of these things are doing what for people? They're making them feel better, right? And it's creating a culture inside of here. And it's creating experiences for the individuals who are our wellness members, right? Or wellness missionaries, we call you, right? Or also creating that for who? For us who are serving you. Because our role is to always do our best to make you have a great experience and get healthier than you've ever been in your life. Sometimes somebody has to be led, right? And they just don't know. Because the way that I may look at something, the way that you look at something, looks at something are different, right? And Lisa and myself have lots of the same training, right? Lots. But there are times where she may look at something a little bit differently than I do. And then we'll talk about it, and then we'll begin to see other perspectives on things, and it just makes us greater, and we grow. See, everything in life, no matter what it is a growing experience. Every experience you've been through, every emotional upset that you've had, family related, whether there was a death in the family, right, which could be very hard, whether it's financially related, right? There are all these factors that can begin to occur in life. But they're all, whatever you focus on is the power that it's gonna have over you. Does that make sense? So begin to focus on the things. So for example, let's say that you lost somebody that you loved and you cared about. Focus on all the great moments that you had. Focus on the appreciation that you had. Focus on the good times. Focus on your life from this point on and all the people in your life that are around you that are supporting you and giving to you. Focus on who you are and become more present with yourself, right? If it's finances, right? Surround yourself, if you don't know the answer, surround yourself with people who do, right? Just because you may not know the answer, would somebody else in this world know the answer? So it's always about just asking for help sometimes. Now, many people, I'm just too prideful. Ask. When you ask, that's the only way you're going to know, right? And then if you ask yourself a question, right? If you ask yourself a question, you're not getting the answer that you want, ask yourself a better question. That's how you're going to get a better answer. Does that make sense? Yes? Now, we're talking about emotions, and some people are here because they have emotions related to food, right? And you know, when you sit down, we talked about being present, right? We talked about that. So sometimes somebody says, well, I like to eat, you know, they want to eat something that's unhealthy, right? Or they want to eat something that's unhealthy because their friends are eating unhealthy, right? Well, try to eat that meal by yourself when you're alone, without the TV on, sitting, not standing, and really observe. Is it you really enjoying this food, or are you stuffing your emotions with these type of foods? Because when you're putting foods that are unhealthy in your body, are you building health or breaking down health? Is that giving you more energy or less energy? Increasing your chances of getting heart disease and cancer or decreasing it? Making you more, I mean, when you have the wrong foods, does it give you lots of energy and make you feel happy? Or does it give you crashes? It does, right? So begin to focus on things like that. And I mean, if anybody's a master at that, it's Lisa. I mean, that's what she teaches people who have eating disorders all the time, right? She's great at that. So if anybody has any questions about that, I mean, Lisa is definitely, you want to add maybe a little bit to that?
Well, I'll talk about food, and the reason why I'm masterful at that is because I had an eating disorder for 13 years. I used to be a compulsive overeater, binge eater, bulimic. I actually at one point was consuming 18,000 calories a day.
18,000.
That's a full-time job, by the way. And and the challenge was and is at the time is any emotion I had, I'd always be great under pressure. You'd always be there for everybody, but privately, I'd go and punish myself by maybe not knowing how to say no and using food to stuff it down, or feeling like I wasn't enough, or ashamed, or frustrated, or angry, or whatever. And the food was the only thing I found that at the time gave me comfort and I felt like gave me love. Because it didn't talk back to me as my best friend. It was like I was having an affair with this food. But the truth is that I never actually tasted my food when I was doing that. And I say that because, you know, when you're in that state, it's almost like an unconscious state when you're inhaling. Who knows what I'm talking about? Thank you. Right? And you're doing that, and it was very interesting. When I learned to be present, I actually tasted my food. Meaning, you know, take the bite, put down the fork, and taste it. And know what I found out? I didn't like a lot of the stuff I was eating. I didn't. It wasn't the food that I really wanted as much as to be filled up with something, but it wasn't food I really wanted. I probably would have preferred a hug or a kiss or a friend or whatever it was at the time, but the food was my second. It was my option. And being present was important. I had one client who said to me, she never had one Hershey Kiss. She had the whole bag. And when I said, look, if you want to have it, go ahead and have it, but I have a couple requests. One, do nothing else but have that Hershey Kiss. Two, sit down while you're doing it. No distractions. Don't do it in hiding, because you know what I'm talking about, right? You know, like if people were heavy and they say, I don't eat anything. No, we just blew up. The air just made us big. No, we put something in. Let's be honest, right? And I have 20 years of not doing this, by the way. I have 20 years of abstinence from not hurting myself. Thank you. And it took me to really understand and learn, but the hardest piece was what she said. She ended up having her Hershey Kiss, and she had it, and the interesting part about it, she said it was the first one she ever tasted. Because she's had them for years, but she never tasted them. Do you understand?
She inhaled them.
She inhaled them, right. It was a big difference. And know what she found? She really didn't quite like it either. Because it was filling a need, and when we start acknowledging and becoming aware of that, we'll find we don't need all the things we think we need. We don't want all the things we think we want, because we start being more cognizant of what need it's filling. So the next time you're looking for something, before you do this, now, I don't know of any of you, but I've done this before. I've had dinner, finished dinner, clear the tables, and 10 minutes later I'm at the refrigerator going, what do we have? Anybody else?
Yes.
Right? So what are you really hungry for? Like, ask yourself that question, what am I really hungry for? And close the fridge. You'll find out it's probably something you never even expected to hear. It might even mean I need to go take a walk, I need to make a phone call. I need to actually get some sleep. I have an expression I live by, it's called HALT, H-A-L-T. It's hungry, angry, lonely, tired. HALT. Stop what I'm doing. Because when I get to a place of halt, like I didn't get enough sleep, I'm burning the candle both ends, and I find myself in the food, I need to halt. And it usually means I need to go take a nap, and I do take naps. I'm okay with that, you know. I take a nap, and a nap can be a 15-minute power nap for me. It can be what Dr. Roger just taught you, the breathing. I do 3-minute gratitudes every day. It's breathing for 3 minutes, where your belly, you let yourself really breathe and inhale, but I'm also thinking of what I'm grateful for. When you do that, it takes your brain waves, and it actually syncs your brain waves that are usually like this when you're very busy and not settled, and your heart, and it syncs them together. And it's equivalent to 4 hours of rest. So I also do that gratitude and the breathing when I go to sleep at night. So I never finish with my gratitude, so I always wake up needing to be more grateful. How great is that? So the idea is these are kind of habits I've created for myself so that I can stay in a healthy place. But being present is one, knowing where the things are coming from, knowing your emotions, energy and motion, right? What are the emotions that are driving all these feelings that you're having? These are all tools that are essential to understand whether it be food or drinking, and there's people who use alcohol as a means, or even, believe it or not, spending. Or Facebook and social media. Nobody does that, right? Like, we escape in so many different ways of not being present. It's pretty sad today. The technology has actually made it harder for us to connect with people. You think, okay, well, I can connect more. It's the complete opposite. We have less connection today, and people are starving for connection. So you being here, applaud yourself. You're showing up around other people, and that's connection. It's serious. You know, do you want to feel better about yourself? This is, you know, what's been created in this office is a community with Dr. Gus and Dr. Dave and Dr. Cindy and Dr. Roger and everybody. It's a community. And this is the only place I've been. I was at another chiropractor for years before we met, right? And I left them. I came here. I didn't know. I walked in, and Marie comes up to me. Didn't even know the woman. And she's hugging me. And I'm going, who is this person? And he's like, so he looks at me and goes, well, we give love. And I'm like, okay. And then now I come in. I'm like, where's my hugs? Or it's such a great environment. But realize that's really what most of us are starving for. It really is. And you can get it easily in a lot of different environments, but you can also be it and give it, and you'll get even more.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? I mean, it's awesome. Everything she said was great, yes? You know, your mind is like a garden. And your thoughts are like the seeds. Now, they can grow to become flowers, or they can grow to become weeds. Who's in control of whether weeds grow or flowers grow? You are. Now, today, did you all get some tools to walk away with? Now, look, this is a subject that we can really talk for days about. All right? We really can. We can talk for days and days and days about emotional breakthrough, okay? Actually, myself are putting one together together to do, but Lisa has her own that she does, and I twisted her arm a little bit to offer it to every single person who is here at no cost. Is everybody okay with that? Would you like that? Would you like to spend, you know, a full four hours with Lisa? Yeah? Okay. All right, good. So everybody's going to get access to that, all right? So before you leave, right in the back, my staff will help take care of that and give you all access. Whoever's interested, you just let her know. Also, every single person here, if you could save somebody's life without risking your own, would you? Yes. Does everybody here get value out of coming to this office? Yes. Okay. So what we have our next dinner with the doctor coming up, right? And it's going to be on the 29th, okay, of this month, okay? It's a Wednesday, okay? I'm going to ask each and every single one of you to bring one person. Is that a lot to ask? One person. One. Not more. One person. Because people need to hear this. They need to hear about how their lives truly function and how they can get even healthier than they already are, and how even some of them can come off their medications, right? Now, isn't that a good thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a lot of people suffering out there, right? That's why the United States of America is ranked 37th out of 40 when it comes to healthcare, right? We have a great crisis care system, but that's called crisis. We need to become more proactive, yes? Yeah. Okay, so can at least most of us make a commitment to bring one person? Great. So my staff's going to be waiting in the back for both of those things, okay? I'm just going to leave you with one last thing to do, all right? And it is doing I am affirmations that are empowering. So things that are going to make you feel empowered when you wake up in the morning. Because when you wake up in the morning, I want you to look in the mirror just like somebody was looking at you when we first started, right? And they were saying something what about you? Something nice, yes? And how did that make you feel? Great. So I want you to begin to look in the mirror and say something nice to yourself while you're looking in the mirror. And be present looking at yourself in the mirror. And I want you to do I am affirmations like, I am grateful for getting up this morning. I am a loving being. I am nurturing. I am empowered. Whatever it is, that is going to bring you joy. I am joyful. I'm happy. I am a smiley individual. Right? I'm a giggly little kid. I'm a person who could stick my finger in my nose, dance around, act like Mickey Mouse, and let all my stories disappear, whatever they may be to you, okay? But I want you to begin to commit to yourself to write 5 I am affirmations, okay? 5 I am affirmations every single day until you hit 50, which will be in 10 days. And that will have 50 I am affirmations that you can say to yourself every single day. And then if you get a little more pizzazz and you want to write another 50, do it. Right? There's nothing wrong with that, is there? No, because is that going to add to your life? Absolutely. So can we all begin to do that? Great. And then every single day before you go to bed, I want you to write down something that you are grateful for or thankful for. And I want you to put it in a jar or a tin, something like that. Okay? And then at the end of the month, I want you to pull them all out and read them. All the things that you're grateful for and thankful for. Now, what do you think that's doing to you? How's it programming your body? To win or lose? Win. You think you have even more emotional breakthroughs that way? Yeah.
I just want to share an experiment.
Okay. Great. Go ahead.
Just exactly what Dr. Rogers is saying. There was an experiment that Dove did with patches. And they had a whole group of women wear these patches. And every day they were supposed to look in the mirror and see themselves and be able to say something nice. And these patches would make them feel better. And day 1, they're like, oh, not so much. Day 2, not so much. Day 3, little, yeah. By day 7, oh, yeah, I'm starting to feel better. By day 10, oh, people are complimenting them. Why are they getting compliments? By day 14, they're dressing different. They're feeling different. They ended up coming back after this experiment, and they showed them the patches, and they said, would you buy them? They wanted to see if people would buy these patches. And every woman said, yes, I would probably buy it. They didn't say definitely, yes, I'd probably buy it. And they gave them the patch, and they said, turn it over, I want you to see the ingredients. What do you think the ingredients were? Water. It was nothing. It was them being told to say I ams and say nice things to themselves. This is magical. It's simple, but it's so powerful. It will change your life. Change your life.
I want you to begin, there are 2 things that drive people. One is value and one is urgency, yes? I want you to begin to look at your life as how valuable it is, right? You were given this one body to take care of, right? That's why you're here. That's why you're under chiropractic care here. That's why you're taking care of your spine and your nervous system, exactly what controls every organ, every muscle of your being, having that life expression run through your being. Then you begin to say all these great emotional affirmations, right? Do you deserve that? Yes. Are you valuable? Yes. Okay. Is it urgent to continue to do that? How fast? Now. Right? When is now a good time to begin to do that? Now. If anything is holding you back from making that now, please talk to either myself or Lisa. Because you deserve it. Every single one of you deserve that. Every single one of you. Yourself is the greatest investment. It's not the nice cars, it's not the pocketbooks, it's not the vacations. It is you. You are the greatest investment in the world. Invest in yourself by waking up in the morning and being grateful for who you are and being present for who you are. Can we all do that? Great. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here tonight and allowing Lisa to do this with myself. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. All right.